We've chronicled the baffling drop in stock for Justin Fields over the past few months. Was a number 2 quarterback on the last day of the college football season. Now he's some have him at number 4 even, which is crazy to put Justin Fields right above Kyle Trask, but nevertheless, that's where he is, and it looks like he might even have a drop into the tens. We'll get into that in our mock draft, but Justin Fields has dropped. Andrew, you and I both have him as the consensus number 2 quarterback in this draft. It's not even I think up for discussion. I think if you watched the games last year, if you watched the games the year before, you would know that Justin Fields does all the things you need to do to make him, not himself successful, but the people around him successful. He's that type of guy. He will elevate those around him. So the fact that he's not in the conversation for the Jets, the fact that he's apparently, according to reports today, out of the conversation at number 3 for the 49ers, what does that mean about Justin Fields? What does that mean about the evaluation on him? Is that wrong?
You know what I think it is? First off, I'm going to start it by saying that there's been stories that have been coming out about Justin Fields talking about his work ethic. They've questioned his work ethic. You heard the epilepsy. He suffers from epilepsy. Like, you've heard stuff like that. With the whole work ethic thing, have you seen that dude? Have you that dude's fucking shredded. Like, there's the work ethic part. I don't buy that.
Zero cents.
I don't
Zero
buy
cents.
that.
Yeah.
The epilepsy thing, dude, what is he, 20, 21 years old? I mean, he'll probably grow out of it. You know what I mean? Like, he'll get to the NFL. They'll get him with doctors and everything like that. Like, he'll grow out of it.
If the epilepsy was such a concern, then he wouldn't even be. You still wouldn't even have a first round grade on him.
He wouldn't have had the success that I don't think he would have had the same success.
That's just bullshit excuses that these teams want to do to justify their bad choices. But go on.
But the point with Justin Fields, I think this is a result of, in the past couple decades, all the failed Ohio State quarterbacks. This is a stigma. The way there's a stigma about Alabama quarterbacks. The jury's still out on Tua, by the way. The Dolphins might have something, and Hurts, but I think this is just a result of, think about all the quarterbacks that have come out of Ohio State the last couple of years. You know, Cardell Jones, he was lightning in a bottle in college, and then he didn't pan out in the NFL. He's now in the XFL. You had J.T. Barrett. J.T. Barrett became a wideout when he got to the NFL. I don't think
Terrell Pryor.
Not J.T. Barrett. I mean Braxton Miller. Braxton Miller got to the NFL and became a wideout.
Oh, we got to chronicle Braxton Miller's fall from grace. That was criminal.
J.T. Barrett was another one.
I don't think he ever made it. He never made it
to the NFL. You had the Terrell Pryor thing. I mean, the Terrell Pryor thing was probably the best athlete that school has ever recruited. You know, that dude was like a top 30 recruit in basketball too. Like, that dude was he was like Jalen Suggs before Jalen Suggs.
Did you know to this day the longest run for a quarterback in an NFL game belongs to Terrell Pryor. 93-yard touchdown for the Oakland Raiders.
Which is funny because he then converted to wideout later on.
Hey, and he had a 1,000-yard season with I believe it was the Washington football team. So
might have been. He bounced around.
Or the Browns, one of those two.
Who didn't he play for, though? I mean, he played for like 7 teams.
Yeah.
So I think this thing with Fields is just a stigma. It's the Ohio State stigma. The same way Alabama's stigma is about quarterbacks. I think this is just the Ohio State stigma, that there's been so many, and a lot of them have been black quarterbacks. I don't want to bring race into this, but just because you've had so many, for some reason, all the Ohio State quarterbacks last 10, 15 years have all been black, but they've all got either got to the NFL and didn't pan out, or you had the most recent one, Dewey Haskins, So I just think this is a stigma, which, by the way, Ryan Day did not want Dewey Haskins. Ryan Day did not want Dewey Haskins to leave early. Dewey Haskins chose to leave early. It was to his detriment. I wish him the best in Pittsburgh, but it was to his detriment, and we're going to see what ends up happening with that. I think Fields, don't forget, dude, Fields was not originally recruited by Fields. He left high school. He graduated high school early, went to Georgia, lost the job to Jake Fromm. Nobody knows how. I think that was Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart was just, this dude got us to the national championship last year, so we're going to ride with this dude. Even though Fields was clearly better He said, screw this, went to Ohio State, won the job, even though he really wasn't supposed to. He won the job, and basically 1 year, he lost 2 games. He lost 2 games as a starter. He lost last year's semifinal to Clemson, and then he lost this year's national championship. He lost 2 games as a starter in college.
3. Didn't they lose 1 game the year before? I don't know. They might have lost 1 game. Okay, but still, he won a lot. No, you're right. Your point.
He won a lot.
Stands. Continue.
As a starter, he only lost 2 games. So I just think this is the stigma with Ohio State. I think Fields just what can't Fields do? He's got the arm strength. He's physical. People wonder, can he take a hit? I don't know if any of you saw that hit he took in the semifinal where the dude basically lowered his helmet and fucking drilled him in the ribs, and he proceeded to throw for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns in that Clemson game. So clearly the dude can take a hit. He's a physical specimen, 6'4.5", and he ran a 4.4. He ran a 4.4. Outside of Lamar Jackson, who we didn't see run at the combine, but probably runs about a 4.2, 4.3. That's one of the fastest times recorded since Vic.
Yep.
From a quarterback. So what can't the dude do? He's got accuracy. He only threw I think he only threw like seven interceptions. 7 interceptions, and that was 2 years as a starter. He threw 3 last season, he threw 4 this year. 7 interceptions as a college starter in the 2 years that he played. So
I'm kind of glad you brought up the race thing for a second, because I think it's important when having an honest conversation about
I think it's why Lamar Jackson fell. I think it's why Mahomes fell as low as he did. There's just certain things you can't teach, man. Like, and dude, one of the biggest knocks on Fields, it was wild too, was one of the biggest knocks on Fields was his accuracy.
Makes no sense,
if
dude.
If you go and Pro Football Focus went back, out of all the quarterbacks coming out, did you know Fields was the most accurate?
He completed 70% career, 70% passing completion percentage for his career. Yeah.
His touchdown to interception ratio was 7-1.
Yep.
Higher. The number 2 on that list was Sunshine's with 5-1. So that means he scored 2 more touchdowns per interception that he threw, more than the guy who's going to be the number 1 pick. I don't know what all the scrutiny is about Justin Fields. He's just a hell of a talent. I think he's just a result of a stigma, an old stigma that's been disproven over and over and over again. And right, dude, whoever gets him, whether San Francisco comes to their senses, they take him at 3, whether he falls to 7, 8, whatever team gets him, they're getting a stud. This dude was the number 1 athlete coming out of high school for a reason. He was the number. Some sites had him number 2 behind Sunshine. Some had him number 1 ahead of Sunshine. Regardless, he was there for a reason. He's a special talent.
Yep.
And whatever team realizes that, they're getting something.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.